Hello everyone, and welcome to another aga-cad webinar. Thanks for joining us, and today we are going to talk about architectural project documentation in Revit and 9 steps that can help you to prepare documents in Revit. I would like to start by introducing myself. So my name is Karolis, and I'm a BIM application engineer here at aga-cad. I'm also an architect with Autodesk Revit Professional Certification. As an architect, I have experience working with many different projects and its documents in Europe, especially in Denmark, Lithuania, and Iceland. We, as a company, we are focused on developing Revit extensions that are based on our clients' needs and their feedback. These solutions can help you to reduce BIM stress and eliminate tasks that do not create value. Here you can see all of our tools and solutions. They're really covering a lot in Revit, starting from modeling to managing data and to documentation. And that's what we are going to talk about today, about Smart Documentation Tool. And during the webinar, I will cover 9 steps that can benefit you as an architect, as we are focusing on architects today. Let's jump to the demonstration. So here I have a architectural project, and where I will show you all of our tools today. So let's start by opening up our tools doc. So it's hidden here behind Tools for BIM. We click Show Doc, and in here you can see all of our tools we have developed. So you can manage and you can work with our tool features on the doc, or you can open it up in the ribbon above. So that's our Smart Documentation toolbar, and here we can close the doc. So our tool, the Smart Documentation tool, is really covering a lot while creating documents, starting from views to dimensioning features. Also, we have numbering and tags, which can help you to document all the that data in your Revit project. Also, we have images, legends and data, and finally sheets, where we usually gather all the information and drawings in our project. So let's start with quick dimensions here, and I would like to start demonstrating you in a first level here. So let's open quick dimensions. So here we have many different configurations, and basically all of our features are based on configurations and rules. So those rules can be saved on your computer, and later you can use those in other projects. Or you can also send those configurations to your colleagues so they can also use those configurations if you have like a standard numbering. So okay, let's move on with these dimensioning configurations. And as an architect, I believe that you're often using dimensions to kind of define what are the locations of the walls according to the grid lines. So let's open up the configuration, and in here you can choose what kind of categories and reference points you want to measure. This configuration has been created before the webinars. I'll demonstrate now. So this configuration is really helping you to create dimension chains just in 2 clicks. So what I'm doing now is I'm just clicking the location of the dimension chain and the dimension chain, the end of dimension chain where I want to end this. And by doing this, you can quickly prepare the whole floor plan, where you measure the exterior and interior of your walls, also the grid lines, and also here we have another wall dimensioning configuration. And this configuration can help you to measure your walls all around the building. So basically the facades with the location of windows, also what's the distance from the grid lines, etc. So Again, before the webinar, I have prepared a configuration for that. Here you can choose how many different dimension chains you want to have on your exterior walls. So in my case, I want to have 3 of them. And let's insert. And let's click on the wall and along it. And here we go. We have 3 dimension chains created immediately. We can repeat this on all of the other facades. And again, this feature is not only covering one wall element, but you can also use this for the whole facade. So for example, if here I have 3, it's not 3, it's 5 different wall elements, I can select one of them. I can auto select walls by the configuration I'm using now, and then I repeat the process. Here you go. Now you can see all the 3 dimension chains created, which are measuring different parts. For example, this one's measuring window location. And by doing this, you can quickly prepare your floor plans similar to these. And it really doesn't take a lot of time. But I know as an architect that if you have a big project and you are in beginning phases, you most often move some walls or delete them, or you do some modifications. So for that, you need to go through all your dimensions again. And if you have a deadline or a meeting, you need to prepare your drawings. So that really requires a lot of time to kind of go through it and to put those dimension chains on your floor plans. So again, you can use those dimension chains not only in plans, but also in sections. So let's say I want to use the same configuration as before, and I do the same here. I just have 2 clicks and I create dimension chains. You can also use a dimension level feature here. Again, only 2 clicks and I have a dimension chain created. So, and you easily prepare sections like this. Okay, so I believe that you can really use as an architect this tool, and this can be really helpful for you. Now let's move on to another floor plan where I want to demonstrate you a numbering and tag tool section. And here let's start by grid numbering. I believe that grids are also important in your projects, and especially in beginning phases where you want to add or remove some grid lines. So let's say in my example right here, I want to add additional grid line here along these structural columns. And this grid line, again, also I can add one here. As you may know, those grid lines are now having a different mark here, and it doesn't really make sense because you need to now to renumber all the grid lines you have in your project. But we have this automatic tool which has a tracking mode for grid lines where you can mark your elements automatically, so everything is marked according to the first symbol. And also you can check this box which is called automatically sort grids. So this gives you a tracking mode for your grid lines where you where the tool is tracking your grids and you don't need to come back to these grid lines anymore. So now, as you can see, this grid line was renamed from a letter to a number, and the rest of the grid lines are also renumbered correctly. You can also do the same for horizontal grid lines here. You mark the grid lines, and you can see these are renumbered grid lines. So let's click OK. And now it makes sense. So if you want to, let's say, delete one of the grid lines, you just do that, and then the rest of the grid lines are renamed automatically. You can also delete this one. So I think you get the point. Okay, now we can jump to another feature. Probably you noticed that we have these columns in the floor plan and the question marks next to it. These structural columns, they have a comment section empty, and that's the value of of this tag. So what I want to show you now is how you can calculate automatically structural or not even structural. You can calculate the coordinates of doors, of walls, etc. As an architect, if you're using Revit for some time, you would use those spot coordinates, right? To kind of define what's the location of these columns. But you cannot use those values in your parameters and to reflect them in in schedules. So our tool, which is called autofill coordinates, it does automatically everything for you. So you don't need to put all the coordinates manually. So let's here choose structural columns. Let's choose a parameter where we want to enter our coordinates. So we choose columns, as this tag stands for column values. We click OK, and we choose the point which we want to calculate for our coordinates. So let's say we want to have a middle point of the column. Now you can see that 38 columns has been calculated, and the result of the coordinates are immediately showing on the screen. So now you can use those parameters of the coordinates in your schedule if you want to communicate with engineers and you want to have a precise location of your columns. So here, if we scroll down, you would see that our comment section will be filled with coordinates. So this can be really useful if you also work with other elements for walls. For walls, you can actually calculate not only the middle point, but you can calculate the starting point and the end point. So this can be really useful, and it doesn't really require any manual work. Okay, so now we can go back to level 1, where I want to continue with another feature from this section. This feature is called autofill flip mirror orientation, and how this feature can help you in your design phases as an architect. So for example, as you may know, Revit doesn't really separate elements or the families which are mirrored. So let's say if we have this table mirrored, right, Revit still recognizes this table as one family, right? But if you want to reflect those tables in your schedules, you cannot really separate these two tables as two different products, because in reality these are two different products actually. So if you would use our autofill flip mirror orientation feature, you can do everything automatically. You just select the family, you click on this feature, and let's say we want to have a mark which identifies if this table, let's say, is mirrored or not. So let's say we want to create another parameter. We can also do that. We create parameter where we're gonna enter the value of the table, which identifies flipped or not flipped elements. So let's click OK, and here you can just choose a mark or some kind of symbol, even a letter or a number. So let's say this mark will stand for not flipped elements, and this mark will stand for flipped elements. We click OK and we apply this feature. And now you can see that our tables have the orientation parameter and the mark which identifies that this specific table is flipped, this one is not flipped. The same can be used for all the other features, for all the other elements. For example, windows. If you also have a mirrored window, but it's the same family, you can diversify it by using this feature. Okay, so also I want to show you another feature which is very useful, and this I would say is one of my favorite here, is how we can collaborate, let's say, one feature with another, right? As I mentioned now, I just used a orientation feature where I diversify these tables, but I can use also the same for doors. But for doors, we have a specific feature, which is called out of fill door swing direction. And as you can see, this feature will recognize if the door has a left or right swing direction. So let's open up. And here we can choose a parameter where we put the mark value, which defines the swing direction. We click OK. And here, according to your country's standards, you can define if this is a left or a right swing direction. So in my case, let's say this is a left swing direction. And for left swing direction doors, I give this mark. And for right swing direction, I put this mark. Let's click OK and apply it. And these values are entered immediately in your doors in the swing direction parameter. So if this is a left door, this is a right swing direction door, this is a left, and so on. You can again flip this door. You can repeat the same feature, swing direction, and you click OK. And again, you have now all the swing directions renumbered, right? And now let's use this swing direction in our numbering or in our marking. So this is my favorite part of this product, actually. Here we can create many different configurations for numbering doors or windows or any kind of elements in your project. Click element numbering. And here we choose a door configuration. We choose a mark parameter. That's the place where we put our door numbers. And before the webinar, I have created a configuration for doors, which I'll demonstrate right now. So all these configurations are based on the parameters, and in this way, you create rules. And in a final sort mark section here, you can see how we will create these numbers. So our door numbers will contain a number of the level, then it will contain a number of type, and in the end we are going to use this swing direction parameter to identify every door if it's a left or a right swing direction. Okay, so let's click OK and apply this rule. And now in these tags you can see that all of our doors are marked correctly. And if it's a first floor, we have number 1, type 3, right swing direction, right? If we go to level 2, you'll be able to see that the door number or the mark will start from 2, type 3, right swing direction. And you can use those parameters now in your schedules. So that's really useful to number or mark a big number of elements. So if we have like, I don't know, hundreds of doors or windows or furniture, you can just create rules and immediately apply them to the elements. Okay. So, okay, let's now jump to the schedules. As an architect, you're mostly using schedules to calculate quantities, probably, to have a material takeoffs and etc. So, but there's one shortage, I would say, in Revit, where if you want to create some kind of technical specifications, right, there's no possibility to have a drawing of certain elements. So for example, if I want to create a door schedule where I want to have all the parameters, width, heights, etc., and I want to have a view of those doors, I cannot really have them in the schedule. For that, we have another tool, which is called Legends and Data, right? So let's open it up. Let's close the previous one. And now I want to jump into this legend view. So I have prepared this sample block with a legend component, and I can use this simple block to create a complete technical specifications for doors in my project, right? So how it works. Here we have to choose this whole sample block. we go into create edit legend. And in here, this feature is also based on configurations. So you have rules here, and you can define what kind of parameters you want to include in your, let's say, technical specification. Also, you can select how you want to split those views. So let's say in this example, I will create it's gonna be 5 different technical specifications, and every legend view will contain technical specifications for every floor. So, or for every level. So that's why I have marked this checkbox. I click OK. Here you can also choose a add row number. So this number will show up here. And okay, let's continue by creating these technical specifications. Here, first I can choose a line. I select this block. I have created this row. And to finish it up, I create a legend in tables. I again click on one of the lines to define the distance. And now I'm going to generate every legend view for separate floors. Okay, let's click OK and see how it looks. So here we have some kind of a schedule, right? But it's placed in a legend view, and it contains a door, or you can create this for any kind of families in your project. And here I have a -1 level. This is level 1. This is level 2 door specifications, level 3, and level 4. Let's have these technical specifications renumbered. Okay, now as I have these renumbered, I can immediately see what kind of doors I have in every floor. But I can also create these kind of technical specifications or any kind of legend views to kind of explain your drawings. I can do the same with any kind of elements, for example with windows. And here we have not even a vertical but horizontal layout of the table. You can also do that for plumbing fixtures, for furniture, for walls again. So it really covers a lot of elements in your project. Now we can use on our sheets. Let's say here on a sheet we have basement, a parking area, and for this I want to have also a door technical specifications. Okay. Let's say I want also to have some let's say maybe I want to have a room schedule, okay, for this. So you just place your views. And now I have a sheet where I have some information about the parking area, okay? But if I want to do more sheets for other floors, what I'm going to do is, naturally I would go to create new sheets, and those views I'm going to place manually one by one. But for this, we have another feature that can help you to work with sheets, where we can manage them. So let's say I have created this sheet, and this sheet I want to have this as a guide, as a template sheet for all the other floor plans, okay? And now I'm going to create those sheets for every floor, and I want to demonstrate how we do that. Here we choose what views we want to include in our sheets for other floor plans. So I want to have all the floors, all the floor plans. Also want to have legend views of the doors for every floor, and I also want to have room schedules, okay? So I have selected all these views. I click OK. I click OK here to copy the positions of these views, and in here you have a preview of your new sheets. So here you see all the views which you have just selected, but we have this group view by type function, which groups all the views according to its name. That's why we named those legend views, so we can have this correctly placed on the sheets. We click OK, and in here we have created sheets, but we want to renumber them according to its floor plan. So it's a first floor, and this sheet is a second floor. This one is a third one, and the fourth. Okay, I click OK here, and now all the views will be placed on every separate sheet. Okay, and what's the benefit of this tool is that all the floor plans are placed in the exact same position on the sheet. So let's say if in the future you're going to create PDF files from these sheets, and if you're going to have a meeting with clients or maybe some engineers from other disciplines, while presenting your floor plans, you're going to scroll through them, through the PDF files, and all the floor plans will not jump off. So all the sheets now have all the floor plans are keeping the same position on the sheet. Okay, and it's based on the guide for those are the grid lines here. So here we have a first floor plan created, a second floor. Here we have a room schedule a little bit too long, so we can split it and place accordingly. Here we have a third floor, and you can see every floor gets a sheet generated automatically. So no manual work, everything is automatically. So I believe this can help you to create not only the floor plan views, but also you can create facades, or you can create any other views and sheets. Especially if you have a high building or a skyscraper, you have many different floors, and it would take really a lot of time for you to place everything manually and to keep the right positions on your sheets. Okay, so now I would like to jump to another example. As I have just presented you those legend views where you create a technical specification, I want now to show you another way how you can create not only technical specifications, but you can create many different assemblies with that. Okay, for this we are going to use assembly view, and these features we are going to apply. Let's say we can apply them to the windows. Okay, here I have a window schedule prepared. As you can see in this window schedule, I have a mark for every window type, and this mark was created by using our numbering tool, the one I have used for doors. Okay, so and this every window type gets a type number, and it also gets A or B, which represents if it's a flipped or not flipped window. So in this way I can diversify different elements. Well, it's the same type of window, but as I mentioned before, if you mirror it, it's no longer the same product. So here I have all the types on the schedule, and let's say I want to have a technical specifications for those windows. Okay, so what I would need to do is to go to this assembly configuration, and in here I can add many different views, not only the front view for the window, but also a 3D view, a front and back view, also a left, right view. Also those views can be with view templates applied to it. Also you can have a dimensioning rules, which can be created and edited through this button. And here you can create many different rules for dimensioning. Also those this dimensioning rule can be reached through this predefined dimension. So as you can see, a lot of a lot of features we have in this ribbon, in this tab, they're all connected. So that's probably how we call this tool Smart Documentation. So also you can apply some tags for your views. Let's say for a right view, I want to have a tag, and this tag will contain all the information about the window elements. I will demonstrate to you soon. Those tags can also be edited and created here on a Edit Tag Rule button. Also, you can reach them through this Numbering and Tags button, okay? And this configuration also creates sheets. At the moment, I have just a free sheet, but there is no template for that. But I will create this soon. So by having this configuration, I want to, for this type of window, to create all the views with dimensions, with tags, and with sheet. So now I have the assembly view created. Here's the first window type. And let's go to the sheet, which at the moment is empty, but I have those views generated automatically. And now I can distribute them on this sheet. Okay. And as I mentioned before, I have applied a tag for this view. Here you can see that this tag is containing information about this type of window. So this sheet now can replace a technical specification, right? Let's distribute them properly. Yeah, let's say I want to have these a little bit up and these also up. Okay, and now let's use this sheet template for all the other window types. What I need to do is to go back to assemblies configuration, and in the sheet button I can apply this template which I have just created for the first window type. I just save and close this, and now I go to window schedule, where I select the rest of the window types, and I click create assemblies, create here. And now what our tool is doing is creating every view for all the window types we have selected. So it's going to create a 3D view, a front and back view, also the views from the side with dimensions and tags. The tag will contain, as I mentioned, the information about every window type. And again, as I selected a sheet template, it will copy that sheet view distribution, and all the sheets now are going to be not empty, but with the views distributed. Okay, it's almost finished with these assembly views. And now we are going to see all the sheets with every single window type created, okay? So, and everything is placed here under the assemblies. Here we go, we have all the window types created automatically. Let's open up the first one. And you can see that this type already has created views, dimensions, and the tag with technical information. All the other views, all the other windows get the same parameters, and you can easily, without any manual work, create such sheets, okay? And that's just one of the examples how you can use this assembly views. You can create many different sheets based on configurations. And as I said, those configurations later can be used in other projects. So that's the way how you can optimize your workflow. And for architects, this can be really useful. And now I would like to finish up with one of the features in this legend and data view. Right? It's called import data from Excel. As an architect, I imagine that you are also having not all the data in your Revit, but also in Excel files. So And as we are moving forward in our industry, we want to have all the data placed in one file, or to kind of achieve it, to kind of reach it faster. So let's say you want to have your Excel data imported into your Revit file, okay? So here I have an Excel file which I want to use for that. Let's open it. And here I can choose the spreadsheets. I can use all of them, or I can select just a few of them. I can also apply a name for it. I can say if I want this spreadsheet created in a new drafting view, or select existing legend view. And here I can also choose if I want to copy the text and the line styles, or I want to use the fonts from Revit. So yeah, let's draw tables. Let's import these Excel spreadsheets. Okay, and now all of our Excel spreadsheets are placed here under the drafting views. So now you can see that we have everything, even the text style, copied from the Excel. What's also beneficial and helpful from our tool is that it can also follow if the Excel file was updated. So you can update it here on Revit as well, okay? So let's go back to this Excel file, and I will show how these are updated. Okay, so let's say I want this column to be colored in, let's say, red, okay? In this one, let's say I want to have this column copied, okay? And if there are many more changes, I don't know, maybe in numbers, or let's say you have these deleted. So what I'm doing now is just to show that when we do some changes in Excel and we save that file, we close it, and here in Manage Tables, you immediately can see that the Excel file was edited, right? So you can select all of these sheets and update it. So that's really helpful if you want to keep the information updated, and those Excel files can be also placed on the sheets. So let's check it out. Yeah, now you can see that this first spreadsheet also was updated with a red text. Here I have additional column here. So everything is updated immediately. And let's go back to the presentation, okay? Okay, and now I want to emphasize the main things of this demonstration, okay? So as you can see, our smart documentation tool is designed to simplify and automate the preparation of architectural documents and data in Revit. So you can really manage all those drawings, all those parameters in your Revit in a really quick way and in automatic way. That data can be manipulated by configurations, and those configurations later can be saved on your computer. Also, those configurations can be, as I mentioned before, can be sent to your colleagues, so everything can be communicated very quickly. And again, these features can help you to save time, avoid human errors. It also saves up most of your resources. And don't forget that this smart documentation is not only suitable for architects, but it can also give a service for any kind of engineers, for MEP, structural engineers, and so on, okay? So how to accelerate documentation process in Revit? I would highly suggest you to visit our smart documentation page on our website and to read more about this. Also, you can get a trial version to this product. And yeah, just you can contact us if you have more questions. you can ask us and we will guide you through. Thank you very much and see you next time.
aga-cad, building BIM together.